This episode is brought to you by Iams Pet Food. When you choose Iams dry dog or cat food, you can see a difference in your pet with your own eyes. Healthy energy in 5 days, healthy digestion in 10 days, and healthy skin and coat in just 25 days. Satisfaction for you and them. Guaranteed or your money back. Feed Iams dry dog or cat food and see a visible difference. Visit iams.com/difference to learn more.
Hello, Mavs fans. Welcome to Mavs Party, brought to you by Pod Maverick. I'm Kirk Henderson, editor-in-chief over in MavsMoneyball.com. I just got done with somehow talking to Josh Bowe for like 45 minutes about a blowout win. But you know what? We should celebrate the wins, and we're going to continue doing that here with our secondary live show where you can be a part of it. I already got 2 folks waiting. For those of you who are kind of unfamiliar or maybe not confident enough with what's going on here, there's a StreamYard link in the YouTube comments, which operates very similar to like a Zoom or a Microsoft Teams call or something like that. You click into it, you can join. You don't have to show your face. You can join by phone. We have fun in here. The other night we talked with my man, Mr. Green in Australia, and we had I don't know what the hell that was in the background. He said it was like an Australian raven or something, and it made the loudest cawing for like 15 minutes until I could ask him what it was. So sorry about that for everyone listening. All right, coming up first is Brian, then we got Michael, and then we have SC waiting. So we're gonna hop to this and hang out here. Brian, what's up, brother?
Hey man. Hey, first of all, how do I sound? This is a new
you sound much better than you did the other night in the other thing where you were kind of fading, where it was like so
yeah, my old headset it was getting a little old, so I needed to replace it. So I'm glad this one sounds better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Just a wire-to-wire ass kicking. We needed that. We really needed that. Like the streak has been good, but we haven't had one of those all season against like a team that people think are like actually decent.
What's my man Dwight say? It's the belt to ass tour.
Oh yeah, for sure. Belt was definitely applied some ass today, and we needed that because and specifically in the way that it happened too. Because I've tweeted about this multiple times since like the start of the third quarter. It wasn't just that we won, it was that our wings beat the shit out of their wings, and our wings cost us like a fourth of the money in assets as far as like what the Knicks spent to bring in Bridges and OG and like Josh Hart years ago. But yeah, no dude, PJ and Najee and Grimes, actually, because you were talking about PJ for a large portion of the earlier show. Let me just, so in the 6 games since he's been back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tweeted this out. Let me get the numbers in front of me and make sure I have it exactly right, but I'm pretty sure I know it. Since he's come back from injury, he is averaging 17, 11, 3 assists, I want to say, a steal and a block, just over a steal and a block a game, on like 48, 50, 89 shooting, and he's attempting 4.5 free throws a game. Like, he has been unbelievable on both ends. Like I don't see how, like, maybe it doesn't look quite like this, but I don't see how this like really changes even when Luka gets back really good. Like, people are already posting Najee's numbers from the last 4 games, the last 10 games, or whatever it is. So everybody else has that covered. I'm checking in on PJ's numbers. I need to go look up and see what Grimes has been doing since the Denver game, but I'm pretty sure it looks much the same. He's probably somewhere around 13, 14 points a game. And they're so good. Like, I've been telling people since the summer, y'all don't understand how much of an upgrade this is over and I swear I don't mean to like keep harping and naming guys by name, but like if you think about Josh, Tim, even Derrick Jones Jr., who was really good for us, like replacing those three guys with these three guys and Clay, who didn't play tonight, it is night and day compared to the team that Boston, quite frankly, didn't have to guard most of the lineup whenever they were on the court in the finals. They were worried about two people, and they let everybody else do whatever the fuck they wanted because it did not matter. And this is a team that is built to not allow you to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
It's real exciting. It's real exciting. And that's where, so, I think I sort of wanted to tease Kevin Gray the other day when he got real mad at Jason Kidd, where I was like sitting there going, is that you doing a Kirk impression? Because you don't got the juice, Kevin. You're too sweet of a man to be mad. But I wanted to talk about the Luka thing in a measured way because I want to at least come at it from the context of where people are frustrated with Luka, because I think I think one thing that's very important if you have a super duper star is to not let it devolve into hero worship, into say things that are questioning whether just how everything works, because I just believe in Luka too much. Okay. And that's, and I hope that I came across in that little bit of a let's just call it a soliloquy over a rant. That I think that he's capable of molding his game and still performing at an extremely high level. So I think these guys and this team just fits. I see the pieces fitting. Like, would we have felt like this if they had won 3 of those 4 games instead of losing all of them by a single possession? Would the vibes be different? Would the tone be different? Maybe not. I mean, I would like it. Probably they would, though, because like that's how narratives function. So it's, do you think, do you think that Luka will be able to adapt just so, because again, he's still going to be a ball dominant guy. That's the nature of Luka. But do you think he's still going to be do you think he's capable of adapting and playing in a way like I was babbling about there?
I definitely do. Moreover, I think he's capable of enhancing what it is that they're doing right now, because we saw him adapt last year. We saw him adapt after Kyrie came, like mid-season, try to figure out how to play with him better. We saw him decide, okay, if I am not going to be able to run as fast as these dudes on my team are now, I'm going to get the rebound. I'm going to look for a hit ahead, and I will find you 70 feet down the court if you're willing to run and make yourself a target. And that's how we got Daniel Gafford going early. That's how we got PJ going early when they first got here and got them comfortable. He is willing to try and run. He definitely likes to do his little Sonic the Hedgehog speed boost at midcourt where he looks and probably feels like he's running faster, but he's not actually. But he'll take the ball and he'll run and he'll get up court if he sees other people running. People forget that. Look, man, this dude is like an ultra competitor. He doesn't want to be. He sees 4, 5, 6 people running down the court. He doesn't want to be the last person down the court. If it was within his power, he'd get down there with him. He'd run and throw alley oops and all this. He wants to do all that front running stuff that all these other stars do too, man. Like that. That's the part that kills me. Like, he wants to be a part of this. You see how hard he roots for these guys, even when he's on the bench. He wants to be a part of all of this. So I feel like he is going to definitely add to what they're trying to do with this methodology of letting the defense start their offense up and getting themselves going in transition. And moreover, what we've seen, even in the midst of this streak, we've seen this team play fast a lot of the game, and some points towards the end of the game, and like when they're trying to close quarters, too fast and get a bit out of control and start turning the ball over and start getting themselves in bad situations where they're fouling.
Kid did a good job tonight of kind of slowing them down when they were getting a little ahead of their skis, I thought.
Yes, he was much better with the timeouts tonight and really bringing them back to the bench to get their heads together when they started losing it. But moments like that, especially at the end of the game when Jalen Brunson, I swear he stat padded with like 10 straight points at the end of the fourth, where it was just we were getting the ball either taken out of the net or getting a rebound, and we were just going. And it's like, dude, there are 2 minutes left in this game. We don't need to be running a fast break. We're up 15. Just run some clock out. And those are moments where you get Luka back, and he is orchestrating those moments a lot better and getting everyone settled down and in place. And I feel like he's going to bring, instead of just enhancing what it is they're currently doing, he's going to bring balance. We need to balance this pace. I love the pace that they're playing at, but you were talking before about how Kyrie is laying it all out there, and at the games you can see him, and you can see sometimes in games like Quentin Grimes and Najee like holding their knees and heaving in the middle of games because of how fast they're moving. Dude, you're not meant to be able to play like that for 40, 48 minutes. And Luka knows that. Kyrie definitely knows that. We've seen him do his first half gimmick where he's conserving his energy as best he can. Mm-hmm. And I think Luka definitely helps with that. The pace is going to be able to kick up when it needs to, but he's going to keep us in a good place. He's going to help us keep turnovers down. I don't see, and then like on the other end too, we saw how well he played on defense in the Clippers series, in the back half of the OKC series. I don't understand how you can see how well he played against like really good offensive players in those series, like James Harden and Norman Powell and Paul George and Shea and Jay Will, I guess, but like Chet, even when he was put on him, and say, yeah, there's no way you can make it work defensively with this. That's not true. That's not true. So yeah, I definitely see him coming back and helping his team out a lot. I don't listen to the idiots, man.
Well, we got a packed house. I didn't know this many people were waiting. Thank you for joining us, Brian.
Of course, dude.
All right. Talk soon, man. Have a happy Thanksgiving, okay?
Yes, sir. You too.
All right. Coming up next is my man, Michael. He's a contributor to Mavs Moneyball, but he hasn't been on this show yet. Michael, what's up, buddy?
What's up, boss? Happy Thanksgiving.
Did you think tonight?
I wanted this one, man. I was feeling this one. I was looking at this one on Monday, actually, and that's one of the things I wanted to mention here. Something I observed on Monday. But yeah, I don't know what it is about wanting to get these guys every time. I think
because the Knicks have handed the Mavs their ass a lot since the Porzingis trade. It kind of drove me crazy. The 60-point Luka game is kind of an outlier.
Yeah. We've got a little run going here, which I'm happy about, and I really wanted to get this one. I didn't want to think bad thoughts going into Turkey Day. You know what I mean? I got the day off tomorrow. We're gonna get fat on turkey. I was like, I want this win, and we went out and we got it, and it was nice to see.
Because there are no other Dallas sporting events tomorrow. There are no other Dallas professional games involving sports. So this was the last one.
This was it. This was our Thanksgiving hurrah here. So it was good. It was good, and I was having a little fun with numbers while Brian was on the main stage there, and I just wanted to share a couple of those.
Please do.
We covered a couple of them. You and Josh covered a couple of them, but just looking at this box score, had PJ hit the one free throw he missed, you'd have had 5 guys, all 5 starters, with 20-plus points, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3.
Lively only had 12 points, I think.
Sorry, right. Dinwiddie off the bench that was the other 20 points.
Oh, yeah, okay. So 5 20-point scorers. Yeah,
5 20-point scorers, yep. And I was looking at the box score wrong. You're right. Yeah, Dinwiddie came off the bench to do it. But, yeah, 5 20-point scorers.
That's balanced.
And a lot of the talk tonight, obviously, about Luka coming back and how he's going to incorporate and so on and so forth. But, man, like Kid said, man, he's got a lot of weapons that you could probably utilize a lot better than maybe we had been up until this point. And that's an exciting thing to see. I looked at that box score and I was like, damn. And I was just wishing, man, I was like, man, PJ, if you went 3 for 3 instead of 2 for 3 from the free throw line, you would have been in the mix, you know? So,
pretty great.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And the other thing I wanted to mention to you that nobody had talked about coming in, and why would we? I noticed this on Monday, and I looked at this just for the hell of doing it because the Knicks were playing Denver, and anytime East is playing West, I'm basically rooting East, obviously. But this was a puzzling thing, and this was like a Thibodeau thing to me. Okay. I'm looking at their box score now. You had 145 to 118 win for the Knicks.
Yes, and against the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the Nuggets game. Yep. Towns played 34 minutes. Anobi played 38 minutes. Brunson, 38 minutes. Michael Bridges, 36 minutes. You got these guys on Monday doing basically what we did. You know, you're going to Denver, high altitude. 2 days later, you're traveling to Dallas. Okay, not a bad trip. But in the moment I was watching it because I was pissed. I was like, oh, man, they're killing them. These guys are all going to be rested, blah, blah, blah. So I actually checked the box score Monday night as the game was going, and I was like, is this really happening? I pulled it up again, and I was like, man, this is – and I think it was a cup game, if I'm not mistaken, which is kind of the underlying part. I wish Tyler were here.
Against New York for the Knicks and Nuggets?
Yeah, was it?
No, because they do that by conference. Right? That's just no. The reason it strikes you as being so weird is because it's 2024 and Tom Thibodeau is still doing this stuff.
Right.
Like, what is happening?
And it was what he was notorious for back in Minnesota.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It was almost that Pat Riley mentality, that grinded out mentality. And I don't know. I still can't believe it. I was so thankful it happened. But I was like, man, you're gonna rock these guys close to 40 minutes.
Big fan.
Sounds good to me. In a beatdown like that, it made no sense. It still makes no sense to me, but I don't know if that played any part of it. And Obi himself, dropped 40 in Denver, and then missed how many shots tonight?
Every shot.
Yeah.
It just kept getting worse for him.
So 3 for 15, 0 for 8 for 3.
Mm-hmm. Love to see it.
Yeah. So little beautiful thing. So I'm thankful for Tom Thibodeau for this year. He's on my thankful list. And,
that's right.
My final thought for all the Najee love, I was high on this guy, pretty much when I just started seeing him do the things he's doing. And you were talking with Josh in the main podcast. A lot of people were saying about a Josh Howard comparison. I got him as an Antoine Jameson comparison. And I like what I see. Remember Jameson with those weird little flip shots?
Oh my God, yes! The way he scored for an entire season, because was he Sixth Man of the Year that year?
He might have been, right?
He was awesome.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And I remember back then, and it's way too lost in the sands of time now, but I think there was some story he said he grew up shooting at a peach basket kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Some crazy story he was shooting at a milk crate or whatever it was. And it was either too high or whatever the story was, but he basically said he learned those crazy push shots and just incorporated it into his game, like, this lifelong thing.
Right.
And when Najee kind of had that breakout a few nights ago, it was like, and whatever, not even like this 20-point scoring streak, but when he started really kind of handling the ball, getting into the paint, doing that, it just reminded me of that. And I needed a venue to say, I was just like, I get that there's a Josh Howard comparison here, but I didn't want to forget our boy Jameson, because it's been a long time since we've had a player doing that kind of thing and doing it consistently. And it's great to see, man. I'm so glad this guy.
Take. I like it. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out with us.
Man.
Hope you have a nice holiday. And obviously I will talk to you because our Mavs Moneyball Slack never stops talking.
You know how it is. Happy Thanksgiving, boss.
Right, have a good one.
Take care.
All right, coming up next is SC. SC, welcome to the show.
Mr. Kirk, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing delightful. It's only 10:30. These 6:30 start times from the Midwest folks, it's actually chaos in my personal life. But then when the game is over, I'm like, oh, it's early. I can still do things and get to bed by a normal hour. So I'm happy.
It balances out the 9 p.m. starts. And the 9 p.m. rip your heart out last 30-second losses.
Which just then I'm up to like 2:30 in the morning, like secretly seething, or really not so secretly because we do these shows now. So
I'm gonna get my spots in, get out. But Falwell, I want to start there. What a wonderful surprise that he was
cool.
on the national broadcast.
It was cool. So I've listened to Falwell for like my whole Mavs life. I feel like him with Bob, because he was with Bob Ortigal way back in the day, and I think over the last several years, he's gotten a lot more Mavs-centric, which is fine, but he's very pro-Mavs. And so to hear him try to call balls and strikes down the middle was a little funny, particularly because there was really nothing for him to say about the Knicks that was good. Like, the Mavs just beat the Knicks so badly that it kind of came out anyways. I loved it.
I quite enjoyed he used "we" a lot describing the Mavs during the thing, and so
which is a huge no-no.
I know he was calling it pretty straight, but like if you didn't know, but then he'd be like, "Well, we have been such and such on the road, and we've been shooting this percentage this year or whatever." And I thought that was nice. And my friends, I'm in a group chat with a bunch of guys who aren't Dallas natives, they're not Mavs fans or whatever. They were watching the game. And I said, hey, this guy's the local, the guy who calls the Mavs games. And they were surprisingly kind to him. They enjoyed his commentary, which I thought was nice.
He's a good, he does soccer games as well. I think he's done some college football. He's good at this. And I talked to him about it once, and he actually, all these guys do this sort of stuff. But then when you really realize how much work they put into learning things about teams before games, it's just impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. He was great again tonight. So I was happy to, no yelling at the refs tonight for him, which he has been doing a lot on Mavs TV, which has been nice. I enjoy it, but
sure,
it's fun. The thing I want to talk about from the game, I noticed several kick out threes that actually went in, which I have not seen for most of the season so far. That was like a Luka special last year, but with Luka coming in looking hobbled and a little slower, and the shooting being so cold to start the season, it was nice to see. When the ball was going to Grimes in the corner, or when it goes to Najee in the corner, I'm not worried that they're going to just absolutely brick it, which has been a nice turnaround.
The shooting from the corners, I saw something maybe 4 games ago, and this is, let's just say, the first 15 games of the season. The shooting for the Mavericks from the corners was abysmal, where PJ Washington at one point was shooting 6% from corners, which is just, it's like, how?
That's like my percentage, probably.
A blind person could hit more than that. It's impressive. So it was nice to see it go back, because Spencer was actually really good at getting some open looks for guys, because he was doing kind of the Luka thing where he's getting within about 6 feet of the basket and then just rifling to somebody in the corner. And obviously that's a big part of the Mavericks games. Team try to take that away, but I would love to see, because it's just, basketball sounds stupid, but it's a geometry game in a lot of respects. And so they've had avenues closed off to them with how they played early in the season. And if guys start making a few more shots, it's just going to open things up.
Yep. Quentin Grimes revenge game. That was sick. Love that.
Great.
Loved a couple the one where he got fouled in the corner and he was turning around talking to the Knicks bench. That was fun. I like that a lot.
More of that.
Yeah, I would like more of that. And then finally, to end it, there's no way Kyrie's playing both Saturday and Sunday, right?
I don't know. That's a
like
great question.
There's no way he's playing both.
Who do they play next?
I believe they play the Jazz and Portland.
Okay. So that's an interesting call, is what I'll say. Yeah. Who do you, I would bet you're probably right, is the answer.
I think it just depends on if Luka is back.
Yes.
I feel like maybe you sit him the first night of the back-to-back.
And who knows? With 2 days off, he may feel better. Yeah, because I think a lot of these guys have say over whether they play to a certain respect. So.
I think it's the gray hair. The gray hair tells me he's not sitting. He's not going to play both of them.
That's right.
But anyway, appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I really appreciate you joining the show.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Talk soon. Have a good one. All right. I got to do an ad read, and then I'm going to bring up our next guest. So, guys, I've babbled about this in previous shows. I'm going to do it again. I would love it if you would click the link in the show. It's a link to a company called Body Spec. They're our new sponsor. They provide a DEXA scan. It's a full body composition scan, which gives you a ton of information, usable information about where you are in your sort of fitness or health journey, however you want to think about it. They're really inexpensive, and using the code, all caps PODMAVS45 at checkout will give you an additional $15 off. These body scans are over $150 for most places that do them, and I will just simply say that it's not $150. You will kind of giggle at the cost when you know what the comparison is. They're a great gift idea. They're a great way to start a New Year's resolution, and if you're interested in actually supporting our show, this sort of thing does help. It really, really does if you were to sign up and get one. And plus, look, this is a fan-based show. We should all want the best for one another, and I want you guys to stay healthy as well.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Future you faces some big expectations. Work out more, go to bed earlier, and most importantly, make smart money decisions. Thankfully, today you has Bank of America. One place with tools and guidance to help balance tasks from budgeting to saving. So you can just be you with big plans. Do more with the bank that asks, what would you like the power to do? Explore our tips and more at bankofamerica.com/futureyou.
Okay. Coming up next, let's see here. My man with a very long handle name, and he's sitting in a dark room. Mr. Slang, what's going on?
It's 5:30 or 6 a.m. in Germany.
Holy shit. So you've been up for what, like 3 hours watching basketball, or did you only catch part of the game?
Of course. I think I've watched every Mavericks game for 28 years or something.
So you're just living an alternative life where you're kind of up at all hours of the day. That's heroic.
Can't miss the game, but sometimes I catch it the next day. And
you're my hero. That's the kind of hardcore fan that this show absolutely supports. So what's going on? What'd you think?
No, Kirk, you're my hero. Come on. I have a question. I can't remember, even though I've watched all the games.
Sure.
Has Luka and Brunson played each other yet?
Yeah. So do you remember the ridiculous 60-point triple-double?
That was a Christmas game, yeah?
It was right around there. It wasn't Christmas itself, but it was around the holidays. Mm-hmm. And it was like the last time Luka was happy that year, because right after that game was when the Mavericks like absolutely fell apart at the seams, because they traded for Kyrie at the beginning of February. But
that's right.
Between those 2 points, things were dark. Oh, Jared says Brunson was out for the 60-10-20 game. Okay, that might have.
I have a feeling they haven't played each other yet. It's so weird.
There's only get 2 chances. They had 2 chances that year. 2 chances last year. I don't know.
It's so crazy to think that. But yeah, I mean, in the first quarter of this game, the Mavericks just clamped and suffocated the Knicks. I was wondering, I was like, are the Knicks just playing shitty? But really, the defense was stifling. Crazy.
It was in sometimes shots just don't go down. But at one point, the score was like 18-6, and it was almost uncomfortable with what was going on with the two teams playing against each other. And the Knicks eventually kind of shook themselves out of it, but there were no easy baskets for the from the Knicks for the first 20-ish minutes of the game. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Luke confirms your thought. They have not played each other yet.
Crazy.
So great insight. I'm glad you noticed this.
It's so crazy to think about, because they also, it's like, did they show today in the broadcast like pictures of the draft night with Luka or like the first press conference with their jerseys or something? And it made me be like, man, they haven't fucking faced off. Maybe, I don't know.
No.
So the one thing I wanted to say was that, well, first off, I like contrary to popular opinion, I like this court.
Okay.
I like it.
I do too. I like the uniforms as well.
Yeah, they're classy. They're not anything super special, but sometimes no news is good news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good
no
stuff,
news
man.
is good news, because we don't need more shitty, like fake graffiti design jerseys.
Nice.
And the last thing was that every season, I think of Luka's entire career, he has had a stint in the season where he'll sit for a few games, and every time the team comes together without him, then he comes back in and he finds a way to fit in to what happened when he was gone. And I think this always builds the team chemistry. So my hot take is that this is what's happening now. And he's going to come back in, be a team guy, and then he'll go to, like monolithic Luka when the time is needed. And I think this is going to be cool. And also, I think that the narrative of Luka, the team being better without Luka and all this kind of stuff is so tired. So I
Yeah.
think people who have this narrative don't have a lot going on in their brain and need to focus on this, because I read it and I think it's so stupid. Do you watch basketball or do you just like to read yourself typing?
This is the one thing I remind people, particularly when it comes to like Twitter. I've said this before, but it's worth saying again. Like 5 to 10% of Twitter users make up 90% of the content. So it's like sometimes the loudest voices can dominate a conversation, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they reflect like fan sentiment, which I would say in this case, they certainly do not reflect fan sentiment. So
anybody who likes to watch basketball likes Luka Doncic. If you don't well, that's not true, because I'm sure Clippers fans don't love
and I could see where, like, I don't like it when Luka dribble takes 18-second possessions. I don't like that either. It's when he's playing real well, it's kind of hard to argue against what he's doing.
Yeah, but it's also like the kind of thing where the teams that he's done this on, he's needed to be that dude. So,
I think that's true.
So when the times get tight, motherfuckers look at the ball and they're like, no, don't give it to me. And he wants the ball. So you want that. That's the one reason I kind of am liking Jaden Hardy this season, because at least he wants it, even if he makes some fucking super frustrating turnovers where I'm just like, oh my God, but you have to learn somehow.
Sure.
On the court. Yeah. Okay, I'll let you go. Let you have some more people up. Nice to talk with you. The reason I haven't called in is because it's fucking so late.
Oh, I get it. I mean, look, we got you from Germany tonight. We got Mr. Green down there in Australia, and we have Sudar Shan from India. So we're just hitting the goal here at some point is to hit every possible time zone. Like, that would be fun. So, all right, man, we'll talk soon.
Nice to see you, Kirk. Peace.
You as well. All right, coming up next, my man Leo. What's going on, Leo?
Hello. The mic's line okay?
There you go.
All right. Well, to go off on a little bit different conversation, what did you think of Maxi's play tonight?
He grabbed one rebound that made me go, great rebound, Maxi. Maxi is the sort of player where if I don't notice him, that's probably for the best. Because when he's doing something, it's one of two extremes. He's either really awesome or he's pissing me off beyond known belief. There's really no middle ground. I was doing something and missed one of his, I think it was like a roll to the hoop where he got fouled. So I think by and large, my understanding of at least of Maxi's game tonight is he did good job, Maxi.
I was asking dude to I don't remember if you remember in 22, but all we had was the micro ball lineup. And then last year, all we had because Maxi got hurt in the Clippers series was big lineup. But if we have the ability to have both micro ball, regular ball, and big ball lineups this year, it just seems really nice to see Maxi have a good game or see how PJ and Najee work out offensively and defensively.
I love it.
Moving forward.
That's my answer is I love it. More of it. I want the Mavericks to put Maxi in positions where he can succeed. And I think they have a pretty good understanding of his limitations and his strengths. And the fact is, since he detached his hamstring or whatever the shit crazy injury he did, I've liked the way he's looked.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kirk. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Talk soon. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. All right. Coming up next, everybody's favorite show joiner, Mr. Green. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Kirk. How are you, bud?
I'm good. What are we thinking today?
I'm glad your negativity from the other day show didn't rub off on my Dallas Mavericks.
Nope. They turned it around.
We didn't get our ass kicked. Mate, I can't believe how well they played, considering that's a sick team.
The Knicks are good.
Can you imagine how many boxes of tissues? Can you imagine how many boxes of tissues are getting used in that bloody in that change room?
Something, man. I wonder what. we're never going to know, but I wonder how, like, what the guys picked up, because the fact that like 6 of them are sick, it's really gross.
Yeah. And, I was sort of a little bit worried when Big Dan wasn't going to roll up today.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't need him.
Nope.
I mean, I don't think Lively had a massively impactful game. In fact, until Kyrie threw him that last lob, I thought to myself, gee, I wonder if, I wonder how many points Lively's going to total at the end of this game, because he just didn't seem to be. Well, I think the Knicks were very aware that, they need to take that out, and then they've got more of a chance and forces to the perimeter. But, man, Dinwiddie cooked tonight. Najee's knife is super sharp. He must be sleeping on a sharpening stone, old Naj. He played fantastic. Grimes had a great game. Dinwiddie, like I said, man, the thing I love about Dinwiddie, he's just long. He's not stupid, and he seems to be playing within himself. And, yeah, he did get a few hand grenades, and I seen his press conference in that Miami game. I watched it yesterday, and he goes, I did get chucked a few hand grenades. But, man, he's playing really well this season. And they did sort of say that they wanted him in case Luka was out. But, man, we're rolling. We're rolling,
nice.
Kirk.
It's nice.
It is nice.
I'm very pleased with the performance tonight, and to the point of being shocked, to where I didn't know what Josh Bowe and I were going to talk about. Then we ended up talking for like 45 minutes, just because there's so many little fun things to sort of hit on. And yeah, this is a as satisfying a win as I think the Mavericks have had this season. Maybe the Nuggets game is up there, but this one just hit home for me in a way that I'm having a hard time describing as to why.
So I do have a question that I'd like to hear about. Right?
Sure.
I have a little bit of a worry in regards to the how the roster's constructed.
Okay.
In one position particularly, I think we're going to do a trade before the deadline.
They have for 7 straight seasons.
Yeah, and look, I think, I think the way Nico's brain works is that he loves being good, but he's never satisfied. It sounds like he's got full reign now. Sounds like Cuban's not even getting text messages. He's been kicked out of the group chat, I don't think he'll sit on his hands, but if you had to make an educated decision, who do you think might leave the roster before the end of the year?
I have no idea. I think Maxi's probably the only person I could think of that doesn't really fit. Maxi fits just fine, but he's like the only person that sort of crosses just like check boxes of guys with a big enough salary who could work on a different team, who might be interesting to another team. I don't even know if they can trade. Can they trade Quentin Grimes?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that they can.
I just don't want to. Yeah, Grimes is on expiring. It's like who last year's team, it was like it's pretty obvious to anybody that had eyes and that had watched the team for a while that Josh Green was an NBA player, but he wasn't the guy that was going to elevate them to the next step. And I just I look at these guys and I'm like, who around in this particular roster is not living up to their role or their pedigree? I mean, I guess Gafford is somebody who I think they could maybe look to move, but not yet. And I don't want them to, because for what we talked about earlier, like Lively is just still too goofy.
And he just gets injured too much. He misses too many games. Look, I don't think they'll get rid of Gafford. I think they need someone around 6'10" to 7 foot who can shoot. And
sure. Like an actual stretch 4 instead of Maxi, who just makes you hold your breath.
Well, they're not going to get rid of Maxi. I don't think Maxi has enough value for anyone to be interested to do a deal and put a proposal on the table to get Maxi. So I can't see any team clamoring for him. And I think they want his defense for the playoffs. As a spot defender, incredible weak side spot defender, especially with Lively on the floor. They're
yes.
Well, and on the floor, he's exceptional. But I think that Omax is probably going to get the arse. I think Hardy will probably get the arse, but I think it's going to be for someone like an Alec Burks. I think we're going to get a 32 to 34-year-old tall, slender shooter and get rid of some of the youth that's not working, because when are you going to find minutes to play these guys? Hardy's he's so inconsistent. Like I love when he's on fire, but man, he's really hard to watch. And I was pretty high on him for the first 2 seasons, but going into season 3, man, it's getting tiring watching him really struggle. It's almost like it's matchup dependent, but when he can't take advantage of this Knicks roster, I told you this Knicks team's a weird team, man. It really is. It feels so out of balance, but they're desperate for Mitchell Robinson, and even Precious Achiuwa. He would make such a big difference. But someone like, look, I've been high on Duop Reef, man, mainly because he's another Aussie. We should be able to get a guy like that. And
he's an interesting one because he's so physical and so raw in certain elements, and it's just like they have 4 centers on that team. I think because they got DeAndre. They have Reith. They have Robert Williams, and do they have one more guy? Maybe I could be wrong, but that's like 3 legitimate centers.
No, the dude they just drafted.
Oh, duh. Yes, and he's he should be getting all the minutes.
He's the best center. He's the best center on their team.
Mm-hmm.
So, they don't really need a lot of guards, though, do they? But, see, I reckon Omax is a carrot. I just can't see him. If they're not going to play him, man, they just got to move him on.
I just don't know if you can because he doesn't make enough money. But, like, for a team like that, would they be interested in swapping a prospective wing just because they have the bid? That's an interesting idea. I still don't think you'd actually be able to get anything for him because I think everybody thinks he stinks too, but that's an interesting one. So JB in the chat says, give me Maxey, Omax, Hardy, and Gafford for Jonathan Isaac. And like Isaac is just such a terrifying injury risk, even though like I do love watching him blot out the sun when he plays defense, but I don't think he's played 10 games in a row, but more than once since like 2017. So it's just that's too much. But I see where you're coming from. It's an interesting thought exercise. And as the Mavericks get closer to 40 games, it gets more relevant because teams just don't move anybody until February.
I need to see Kid play Omax. I need to see if Omax, like, he has been absolutely shocking. He's been one of the worst players I've ever seen put on a Mavericks jersey. He really is that bad. But he really is, Kirk. Like, I have seen him do absolutely fuck all. He is atrocious. And the thing is, he is the right height. He's the right length. He's not athletic. He gets fucking blocked by the rim. But we need to play him to see if he has any value. It's the old adage, I've got a funny feeling they're playing Dinwiddie to find out if he's going to be the one to get moved again, which I'd feel sorry for him because he'd probably miss out on another good playoff run.
Yeah.
But they've got to find another power forward. They really do because, we're only one twisted ankle away. I mean, look how impactful PJ's been. We won 5 of the last 6 he's been in the lineup and lost all the games he was out. I don't need PJ rolling his ankle, missing 6 or 7 games, because then the lineups get really crazy. And yeah, like I said, man, I don't think Omax is an NBA player's asshole, to be perfectly honest with you. But
I get it.
Until Kid plays him, how are we ever going to know? We'll know, man. Like last year was his rookie season. He's in his second year, man. If you can't give the dude minutes. If I was Kid, I'd be telling Nico, get this guy off the roster and give me someone and give me 6 or 7 minutes. So, but happy again, mate. I did ask the Raven if he could keep it down today.
Very funny. Did you go back? If you haven't gone back and heard it, go listen, drop off this, go to YouTube and click on it and just listen. It's very funny. And I got it didn't bother me one tick, but it's one of those things where you never know what a mic is going to pick up. I always worry about that with my dog, and it was great stuff.
Actually, my dogs have been really quiet today, which is impressive.
Hey, well, you have a good day, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving, Kirk.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
See you, mate.
All right. Coming up next is Mavs Moneyball contributor and another time zone hit. Sudarshan, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, morning. It's been a long morning, but a successful one.
Good. Did you watch most of this game?
Oh yeah, no, I was up at 3 because of jet lag, but yeah.
Yeah. You just got back from a long trip, and are you in school again?
No. So I mean, it's not like I'm in school. I teach part-time. So
I can never, dude. You've told me this, and my brain is mashed potatoes by this point. So it's And so, what did you think? Let's tell me about the game.
No, it's fun because I hate the Knicks more than any other team, more than the Lakers. So it's always satisfying to see them win. But also the manner of the victory was good. So that was the most impressive part about it. It's like I think someone in the Slack said that we'll see in the second half whether they actually learned anything from the Denver game, where they absolutely shat the bed in the second half, and they didn't. They were comfortably ahead despite playing 5-on-8, which is fantastic.
Sure. See, I didn't think the reffing was very bad. I think the Mavericks foul a lot, and I think that's built into their plan. I mean, outside of Lively's fouling is driving me nuts. Like, he does it at least 2 of his fouls every game are like, bro, what are you doing?
No, that I agree. That I think he's really experiencing a sophomore kind of regression from where he was last season. But I mean, in terms of the calls, it wasn't that they were egregiously bad. It's just that they were overwhelmingly in favor of the Knicks, particularly like some of the Brunson calls. But he always gets those. So
yeah, always.
Yeah, so I'm sure if it was a closer game, this would be more of a talking point. But the fact that they completely pants them for more or less 48 minutes was enjoyable.
That's right.
And, I mean, just building off of that, is the Karl Anthony Towns trade the rare occasion of a lose-lose trade for all the teams involved?
I mean, I think the Knicks had to get off of Randall. Like, I don't like Towns largely because I think if he tweaks like 2 things, he could be way better. And Randall, though, has been this guy since always. He's never going to be able to play differently. Like, Towns, I think, there's just a mental element to Towns' game that works against him, where you can see, like, he finally starts hitting threes when they're down 20. It's like when the pressure's off, he just doesn't react well to pressure, is my opinion. But I still think, like, their pick and roll combo, meaning Towns and Brunson, is unreal.
It's lethal, which is why I thought putting PJ on Brunson to start and then switching him onto Towns and being able to add, like, not even adequately, like, successfully just completely erase that game was fantastic to start off with. I think they fooled around with it a little bit more in the second half. But the thing with Towns is, while he calls himself the greatest shooting big man of all time or whatever it is that he doesn't have one aspect of his game that he can settle down into and then just sort of build on when he's having a crap night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, say what you will about Dirk. It's like, okay, he's having a crap shooting night, but he'll get down into the post. He'll have his fadeaways. He'll score off all of those things. And he might be like 10 of 25 or something like that, but he'll have 25, 26 points quite easily.
Well, there was the block so Lively blocks a reverse layup from him in the first quarter, and he gets up and he's like, fouled, and he wasn't fouled, and then goes down the court and proceeds to commit a foul. And he's the kind of player who compounds mistakes that is painful to watch. And Luka's kind of the only guy on the Mavericks who does anything like that.
Which is what I think everyone's been sort of frustrated with Luka more than anyone. that the fact that we have to deal with all of this shit when we completely give shit to other players on other teams who pull this kind of stuff. But yeah, also, I mean, just have to give Dinwiddie his props. I know I was one of the, I mean, along with you, I think I was one of the heavy anti-Dinwiddie players after the Heat game. But I mean, he's played well the past 2 games. It's been refreshing to watch. So yeah, it's a fun thing. And after the crappy start, we're still 1 game out of 4th place.
Wild.
Which just I mean, like Memphis is 12-7, and we have Portland, Utah, and then Memphis on Tuesday next week. We win all 3 of those games, and we're again a top 4 team with extended games in the NBA Cup. So yeah, okay. I mean, things are looking good.
Yeah, well, we're going to have Tyler on to talk about the NBA Cup because the Mavericks are going to the NBA Cup. I don't really want to even talk about it now because I'm tired, but they're going to be playing basketball. So if you look at the Mavericks schedule and you're like, why are there no games between December 7th and like December 21st or something like that? It's because of the NBA Cup, and they will be playing in that. So
I'll take it if Luka gets back in shape because of those extra games. So.
Yeah, what if my kind of thought I've been sitting on is like, what if these first 15 games have been his preseason, and then the NBA Cup is kind of his start to the regular season? So
that'll be fantastic. Anyway,
thanks for getting us going. Yep, talk soon, man.
Yeah, take care.
All right, guys, this has been a great show. Guests from all around the world. That's pretty fun. We will be back when will we be back? Obviously Saturday, but I'm going to post something. I'll post this podcast probably sometime around noon, and then maybe right around the Cowboys game, I've got something I need to throw up into the timeline. An old show that I had Josh dig up that I've basically it's he and I. Well, me. I was really drunk 2018 when the Mavericks traded for Luka in the lottery that night, or not the lottery, the NBA draft. And I'm going to post that show again just because it's fun to listen to, 7 years later. All right, guys, great time, great night. Everybody be good. Have a good holiday if you're celebrating here in the United States. Everyone else, have a great rest of your week, and we will talk soon. Go Mavs.